You know, preachers have, and I've been guilty of this myself, have really hammered Christians on being fruitful. And there's to be fruit in our lives, no doubt about that. But there's some way in which we have come at it that has given people the idea that that they should be the ones to bear fruit. That somehow, if they worked hard enough, that fruit would come out, like being able to be peaceable with people, especially those we don't want to be peaceable with, or about being able to be self-controlled in certain areas. But we try that, and we really bear down and do our very, very best, and yet we still fail. And we come up discouraged and saying, well, I don't know if I can change or be changed. And the problem is that we aren't listening to what Jesus said to us about being transformed. And he said it in John chapter 15, and he compares it to a branch, a vine. And he says, you branches, you can't bear fruit. In yourselves, no branch can bear fruit. So what do we do? He says what you are to do is to abide in him, or to remain in him, in the vine. And so in D60 we talk about how we are able to abide in or remain in him, and then he will produce fruit in abundance through us. It's not changing ourselves, it's being transformed by God. It's a total another process. It says we with unveiled faces are being transformed into his likeness, degree by degree, little by little. One of the things I really enjoy about my farm, and I have a small farm, and I have lots of things I enjoy here. I've got animals, cattle, a few cattle, and some chickens. I really enjoy the cattle. I don't always enjoy the chickens. And we have a garden, and I really enjoy that. My son Benjamin is great at the garden and the permaculture and all those sorts of things. But the thing that brings me the singular, most pleasurable moments happens about 2 or 3 days a year when I graft plants. When I graft apples, I'll graft a branch from one kind of apple tree onto an apple rootstock. I love doing that. I don't know why it's so pleasurable, but it is. And I also graft grapes. And grafting grapes is brings a lot of satisfaction to see a root that's of a rootstock that's of a type that's very hardy and very strong and mature. And then you take another variety that's maybe disease resistant, and I've taken that branch and I've grafted it in to the rootstock so that I get a hardy plant. I get a strong plant that produces much fruit because my rootstock is not producing it without this new branch. It's amazing to me just how small a branch is. I imagined it to be much more, but the branch is really unable to do things on its own. But once it's grafted in and it remains there, doesn't fall off, nothing happens to break it off. Once it remains there and it begins to draw from the life of the rootstock, it produces amazing fruit. It's an amazing process.